solidarity to describe the basis of social solidarity in primitive societies. And obviously, primitive societies, this description itself is normative in the sense that normative, and it has a negative connotation as if modern societies are advanced societies in every aspect, socially, morally, technologically, at least technologically. And by technology, we don't just mean physical technologies, but also conceptual technologies, ideas. So primitive societies where individuals and institutions were little differentiated, and people hung together by the common adherence to a shared body of value, a shared body of value and system. So there was much more cohesion and much more little differentiation. As Habermas picks up on this, and through his conception of decentration and applying it to all sorts of things like language, interactions, etc. He differentiates between modern societies and primitive societies. And differentiation is connected to rise of individual consciousness, and also enhanced reflectiveness towards itself and others. So the social solidarity in primitive society where individuals and institutions were little differentiated, and people hung together by their common adherence to a shared body of values and symbols. So one thing which, according to Durkheim and other sociologists like him, differentiates modern society from pre-modern society is the modern society is the pre-modern, according to these people, pre-modern societies are holistic in the sense that everyone thinks according to given patterns and in terms of the given values, etc. And there's not much difference between people, their thinking and the way they act, and there's not much individualism and self-reflections, etc., which are all the characteristics of modern society. But obviously, this is a caricature, basically, and it's an exaggerated view of the differences. And also, it confuses factual differences with normative differences. Just because certain societies don't recognize certain certain differences as normative doesn't mean that they don't exist factually. So this is, and it's already presupposes the superiority of modernity. So it's not really a description; it's evaluation and a judgment at the same time. Yeah. More simply, the society stayed together because its component people were very similar in having socialized into a single culture. In fact, it is ironic because modern societies are the highly monolithic societies in a way, in which no previous society was monolithic. Through centralized or semi-centralized education systems, media, etc., and globalization, there's much less substantial differences or meaningful differences in modern societies than in pre-modern societies. But sociologists, obviously, as I said, they weren't merely describing the difference between the modern and pre-modern societies, but they were also justifying